The night sky above the crystal kingdom shimmered like a velvet blanket sprinkled with silver dust. Cinderella stood on her balcony, breathing in the cool air. Fireflies danced around the palace gardens, and the moonlight cast soft patterns on the ground. She gently touched the tiny star-shaped clock pendant resting on her chest, still ticking quietly from her adventure with the clockmaker's star. But tonight felt different, unusually still, unusually expectant. Even the heart chime hanging by her window remained silent, as if listening, waiting. Then Cinderella heard it. A whisper, soft as a feather, light as a sigh. Cinderella. She spun around, eyes wide. Who's there? Another whisper drifted across the room, carried on a cool breeze. Please, hear us. Cinderella stepped back onto the balcony, looking up at the sky. The stars above twinkled, then, one by one, dimmed softly, as if bowing in greeting. A trail of starlight gathered, swirling gently until it formed a tiny glowing shape, a star no bigger than a dove, fluttering like a living spark. The little star whispered again, its voice musical. Cinderella, we've come for your help. Cinderella cupped her hands gently, and the tiny star floated into them. Oh my, she breathed. You're a real star. The star shimmered bashfully. A whispering star. To be exact. We carry messages across the universe. But right now, the sky is in trouble. What kind of trouble? Cinderella asked softly. The star dimmed slightly. The star choir, the great constellation that sings the night's lullaby, has gone silent. Cinderella gasped. But if the lullaby stops, won't children all over the world have trouble sleeping? Yes, the star whispered. And not only children. The night depends on the song. Without it, darkness will grow too heavy, and the stars may lose their light. Cinderella held the star closer. Then we need to help them. But how can I reach the constellations? The whispering star sparkled brightly. Leave that to me. It fluttered above her head, glowing brighter and brighter, until a long ribbon of starlight unfurled from it, swirling in the air until it formed a shimmering staircase stretching into the sky. Cinderella placed a hand over her heart. This is incredible. Follow me. The star chimed. The night choir awaits. Cinderella climbed the starlit steps, each one humming softly beneath her feet. The higher she went, the more the world below faded, replaced by swirling galaxies and drifting clouds of cosmic light. Soon she stepped onto a floating platform woven from constellations, lions made of stars, birds sparkling like diamonds, dolphins drawn from shimmering lines. Standing at the center of them was a radiant figure cloaked in night sky fabric, the star maestro. His eyes were glowing galaxies, and a baton made of comet light floated by his side. He turned as she approached. Cinderella, he said in a gentle, echoing voice. Thank you for answering our call. Cinderella curtsied. What happened to the choir? The maestro sighed, and the stars around him dimmed. The silent veil has fallen over the constellations. Something or someone has stolen their voices. Without them, we cannot sing the world to sleep. But how can voices be stolen? She asked. The maestro pointed to a dark cloud swirling in the distance, a shadowy fog pulsing with coldness. The silent veil is alive. It feeds on loneliness, on quiet fears kept inside hearts. It has grown strong. A shiver passed down Cinderella's spine. Then we must free the constellations. The maestro nodded. You have a gift, the ability to hear what others cannot. The stars whisper to you. You can find their voices. He tapped his baton once, and stardust gathered into a glowing orb before Cinderella. Inside the orb, she heard faint echoes, lost voices calling out. We start with the little lullaby star, the maestro said. Her voice was the first to vanish. The whispering star guided Cinderella toward a small constellation shaped like a cradle. Cinderella knelt beside it. The stars flickered weakly. She placed a hand over the cradle. Little lullaby star, can you hear me? A faint sound replied, like a tiny sob. Cinderella whispered gently, it's all right. I'm listening. The cradle shimmered, and Cinderella felt a small voice speaking inside her heart. I was singing, but no one heard me. Night after night, fewer and fewer dreams reached my light. I felt forgotten. And then the veil came. Cinderella's chest ached. You weren't forgotten. You were just unheard. But I hear you now. The tear of truth on her necklace glowed brightly, sending warm, golden light around the cradle constellation. Slowly, the stars brightened, then burst into soft melody. Her voice returned. The whispering star twirled in delight. One voice restored. But the silent veil suddenly surged forward, spreading its fog. Silence. It hissed. Dreams are weak. Hope is fragile. Cinderella stood up firmly. No. Hope sings even in quiet places. She held up the heart chime. Its melody rang clear and bright, pushing back the fog. The maestro raised his baton. Quickly, the next constellation. They raced across the starfields to the archer's star. The water-bearer's glow. The swan's song. Each constellation whispered its fears. I was overlooked. I felt unnecessary. No one wished on me anymore. And to each, Cinderella whispered back, you matter. You shine for a reason. I see you. With each voice restored, the veil weakened, shrinking, trembling. Finally, only one constellation remained, the heart star, the center of the night choir. But the veil wrapped around it tightly, pulsing like a living shadow. The air grew cold. You cannot free this one. The veil hissed. This star carries the dreams of the lonely. Their silence gives me strength. Cinderella stepped toward it, her voice soft but unwavering. Even the lonely deserve a voice. The veil surged. You cannot change their sadness. Cinderella placed her hand on the heart star. No. But I can remind them they're not alone. The tiara of truth glowed brilliantly, and the crescent moon mark on her wrist shone like silver flame. The heart chime began to ring, but not alone. One by one, the constellations Cinderella had helped joined in, singing again, softly, then brighter, then together. The heart star pulsed, its voice returning in a burst of warm light. The veil shrieked and dissolved into harmless dust, swept away by the song. The night choir sang once more, a beautiful lullaby that wrapped the whole universe in peace. The maestro bowed deeply to Cinderella. Because of you, the night has its voice again. The whispering star hugged her cheek. You're our hero. Cinderella smiled, tears in her eyes. I just listened. The maestro touched her pendant, adding a tiny glowing star to it that sparkled like a heartbeat. A gift from the heavens. May you always hear the quiet voices of those who need you most. When Cinderella stepped back onto her balcony, dawn was rising. The stars faded, but somehow, they seemed to wink just for her. That morning, children everywhere woke peacefully, whispering, I dreamed the stars sang to me. And Cinderella smiled, knowing the sky would never lose its voice again. So remember, little dreamer, even the quietest voice shines if someone listens.